Good morning and welcome to Fat Cow Farm. Now, we've had a little bit of a dilemma come our way, and what we're finding is that as new farmers and looking at our veggie garden in our chicken coop, what we're finding is that we're not utilising the space efficiently enough when it comes to root crops. So what we've been doing is putting root crops in our bays, but what's happening there is that it's eliminating productivity over such a long period of time, you know, like garlics and onions and potatoes and things like that, where, you know, they're 6 to 8 month crops. So what we've decided to do is expand our veggie garden, but have it outdoors rather than focus on having roots vegetables in the chicken coop, and we'll focus more on above ground, so more, you know, like your corns and lettuces and zucchinis and tomatoes and all the things that obviously grow a lot quicker, you know, with that 3 month sort of harvest sort of rotation. So what we're looking at now is we've done a bit of a step out, and then what we're thinking of doing is putting a garden bed on the other side of this old trellis that we'll take down and get that all fixed up. So we've got a garden bed on the other side here. We've got a garden bed running through here. We're thinking about putting another one just in front of me. But what we're going to be focusing on is garlics, onions, carrots, potatoes, everything that's a root crop, because of that time efficiency, and we can focus on other things in the chicken coop. Now, what we have noticed is, and a little bit of planning went into this, but I wasn't expecting it to happen so quickly. From the chicken coop, obviously with rain and runoff and things like that, what's happening is that all the manures from the chicken coop has been sort of dissolved and put into the ground. Now what we're finding is that directly in front of the chicken coop, we're getting there's a massive difference between the growth periods on that side versus the growth period on this side. So what we're thinking is that the manures are then dissolving and the nutrients are running into the soil and making its way down the hill. Now that's happened, you know, what's that, 3 or 4 years now. So we've got to sort of use that as much as we possibly can. So hence, we're going to try and sneak in this garden bed between the trellis and the first row of trees there. And then this one here that we'll put in is really going to have to be focused on bringing in a lot more of our composts, comfrey tea and things like that to really give it what it needs. So the objective is to look out, is to map out a space that we feel comfortable with. I've got an opportunity to pick up a rotary hoe rather than doing it by hand, and I wanted to see if that really is going to help out, because that might be something that we look at for rotational cropping outside in the paddocks. And then we can sort of let that rest and we can build up some soils, and then over the next month or so start planting out. I really want to sort of towards the end of this month get those root crops in, so that they've then got the winter to sort of stratify, and then come that early spring, hopefully we get the growth that we really want. So that's the objective for today. Like I said, we'll try and work out what we can and what we can't do, and we'll go from there. So I've got to go race down the street and to our neighbour and have a look at this rotary hoe. We've got an opportunity to have a look at that, and then we can go from there. I'll come back and find you once we've got this all sorted out and sort of mapped out an area, and we can go from there. So I'll see you soon. right, so here we go. We've got basically our layout pretty much all squared away. And what I've noticed is that it's a lot easier just doing layers. So what we've done is we've adjusted the depth setting on the rotary hoe, and what we're finding is that we can then scrape away and rake all the grass, get all that squared away. So we've got grass in piles here, which we'll now sift through and then put into the trailer, and then that'll go into holes and things around the paddocks and whatnot. And then what I think we'll end up finding is that we'll need to then run back over the ground quite a few times just to start to give us that depth. And then based on that depth, we can start making some, you know, good drainage beds, I suppose, is really what we're sort of going to look at. But we're having a bit of a talk about it, and I think what we'll end up doing is coming across. So I'll have lots of little ones running all the way down. And that way, so what we're going to find is that we can capture, when we get the rains, we can capture in between all our beds, our raised beds, rather than having them long where the water can just run straight through. And I think that might be a little, because we're on a little bit of a gradient here. So I think that that's really going to have to be the way to go through. So you can see the chickens, they're giving me a hand, just getting all the bugs and getting everything sorted out. So it's, there's no punch without duty, I tell you. And then what I've done here is on the other side, we're doing the same sort of system. So come over. So this is basically the first pass, and what I'll end up doing is then raking a lot of this grass material out. As you can see here, I've mowed. I've got it as low as I possibly can so that I can then cut through. So with the first pass, I've still got, you know, clumps and everything else coming through, but that'll all rake out, and then we can pass that, and then we'll drop down deeper and deeper and deeper. So I tell you what, I'd hate to think that, you know, what this was going to be if we were going to do it by hand, and that's what we were going to do. Until, you know, we were talking to the neighbour, and he goes, "Oh yeah, come and borrow ours." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So amazing, absolutely amazing. So really, you know, what I'm thinking is that what might have taken a 3 or 4 week process to do sections, you know, we might actually have this done in a few days with the cutting and everything else, and then I can get that back to the neighbour, and then I can start really adding in our compost and all those sort of things ready for planting. So yeah, but I thought I'd just touch base. You know, this is what we've got. So basically we've got paddock hay or paddock grass. This is what the orchard was. We might have to change the name. super veggie garden or something. And that's what we've got. So I just thought, you know, before I sort of kept on charging through, I'd give you the opportunity just to have a look and see where it is. And like I said, we'll rake this out, and then we'll just go deeper and deeper and deeper. Because really at the end of the day, what I'd like to do is have our raised beds, you know, anywhere between 300 to 400 mil, you know, say something like that, like so. And then we can start adding all our compost through it and things like that. And this is where I'm really thinking that this rotary hoe would be great for that, because we could then put all the compost and straw and all that sort of stuff on top, mulch it back, or, you know, cultivate it back through, remound your mounds for your raised beds, but then once your crops are finished, have these things come back through again, and then you can sort of take out what's, you know, all the leftovers or whatever it may be, and then you can really start mounding up again. But yeah, I'm thinking deep down, I think we'll end up coming across. So this is the gradient running back down, back towards the north. So we'll have it almost terraced, so that when we do get that rain, we can hold it up behind those raised beds. All right. truckloads more to do. So I'll see you soon. All right, now we're pretty much close to finishing off what we wanted to do, and I've been having a look through this soil, and it's not soil, it's dirt. Now I'm going to have to change a lot of plans in reference to our garlic this year and a few other bits and pieces, because this here is just nothing. It is so dead, which I'm really disappointed about. So I think the only way that I can get through is, what I'm going to do is now focus on these two plots over the next year. So they're certainly ready for our garlic and potatoes and everything next year. So what I'll end up doing now is I'll go get myself a autumn winter mix, and I'll seed this through and I'll cover it. I'll get some mulch, and we'll get this right and build it up over the year. I think that's really the only thing that we can do. Like, it is just dead. It is so dead. I can't believe it. You know, there's all day working, but if we plant anything in this, it's just not going to work. It is not going to work. So, a couple of positives though. We know that, you know, we have to look ahead 1 year if we're going to do any work in the pastures, and I suppose that's not dissimilar to what we're doing in the paddocks for the cows. You know, this is sort of the same sort of turf. So, you know, we're running comfrey tea over the new grass seeds and everything else. So it's building. You know, we've got a lot of key line cuts in there to build up hydration. You know, I look at this, it's just dust. So, but anyway, what I'll do, like I said, we'll throw a winter autumn mix over this. We'll then we'll mulch that in. We'll then go for a summer or spring and summer. We'll mulch that in, and we'll just keep on building. And I'm thinking that, you know, with these autumn and winter mixes, or spring and winter mixes, you know, it's as soon as they're ready, bang, we're going to mulch them straight back in, seed another one. So hopefully, you know, we might be able to get 2 or 3 seeds in over each season, mulch them back in, really look at some hydration for here. We're certainly going to have to do something rather than just relying on the old natural rain event. So, but we'll certainly need to cover this. I mean, it'd be my luck now that we get 100 mil, and this is all down the front paddock in my swale. So we'll have to cover this now. Seed it, cover it, and we'll water it in. So, you know, we don't have too many fails at Fat Cow Farm, but this is certainly one that we need to have a bit of a look at and go from there, because I think we'll all be kidding ourselves if we're expecting something to grow in this. Like, it's just But anyway, what I will do though is I will prep up. I'll go have a look now in the veggie garden, and I'll have to get one of the bay dedicated to this year's garlic. So, and the positive being now is that, you know, what have I got? I think we're running up to around about 1,000 cloves, maybe just over. So we'll get them all set up for in there. So certainly by next year, by the time that we harvest those, we'll have a good volume of garlic to come through these areas. So, but anyway, look, that's really what it's all about. So I just really wanted to say, you know, I was really pumped up this morning. Oh my God, we're going to get this all sorted out, but no. So, all about trying to set up an external garden. It's just not going to work. We're going to have to really work on this over the next year. And, you know, I should have thought about it, because it really took us 18 months in the chicken coop. with all the chickens and everything else that's going on. So I was probably a bit delusional that, yep, we can just turn a paddock into a veggie garden. So no, it's not happening. But anyway, like and subscribe. Failure number 1. I'll see you soon.